Welcome into hour two. All right, let's get into a little Jayden Reed talk here, Tim. I put an article together earlier. I was combing through the old intrawebs and came across a few different things, and multiple people all of a sudden acknowledging and realizing, damn, Jayden Reed actually was pretty good on deep balls last year. I mean, I know we were all told that he can't catch a football and he sucks, right?
But bird. The bird is the word, baby.
Yeah. So let's just jump into it here. Following a solid but not standout 2024 season, the Green Bay Packers are counting on their young talent to step up significantly in 25. General Manager Brian Gutekunst emphasized the need for urgency after the team's wildcard loss to Philadelphia, though his free agent moves, adding guard Aaron Banks and slot corner Nate Hobbs, seem more practical than aggressive. And you know what, guys? I would rather be practical than aggressive. Go fill the needs instead of trying to reinvent the wheel and going out there for a huge splash signing. Like, you got better on the offensive line by signing Aaron Banks because now Elton replaces Josh Myers. And then, of course, Nate Hobbs steps in with Jair, moving on to the Baltimore Ravens. You got a guy in Nate Hobbs who, if they can get him back to his rookie form, the guy graded out in the 80s his rookie year. You guys know how excited we are for Edgerrin Cooper this year because he graded out at 85 his rookie year. That's so rare. Hobbs did that his rookie year as well. If anybody can get it out of him, it's Jeff Hafley, obviously. Running back Josh Jacobs, who rushed for 1,329 yards, 15 touchdowns in his first year with the team, was vocal about roster needs, stating, quote, "I think we need another DN. I think we need another DB. And I think we need a wide receiver. We need a guy that's proven to be a number one." Goody, however, dismissed such player input, saying, quote, "It really didn't move the needle for me," end of quote. Instead of chasing big names, the front office chose to rely on existing talent, putting players like cornerbacks Carrington Valentine and Keyshawn Nixon, edge rusher Lucas Van Ness, and wide receiver Jayden Reed in position to take on larger roles. If you guys will remember here, his rookie year, Jayden Reed graded out a 73.3, and then in 2024, last year, this horrible season people talk about, 71.7 was where he graded out with a receiving grade of 71.6. Reed's potential is undeniable, but his 2024 performance was inconsistent. In week one, he exploded for 171 yards and 2 touchdowns on 7 touches in a thrilling game against Philadelphia in South America. Yet in week 14, he was held to 0 receptions and 0 yards in a critical Thursday night divisional matchup in Detroit. I'm trying to think, was it the Detroit game that he got hurt? There was I think somebody mentioned it in the chat the other night. I can't remember what game it was where he got hurt on a jet sweep, but he got absolutely clobbered. But that may have been the game there. So you guys can check out some of these next-gen stats on your own time there. They're all right here in our Patreon article if you want to give them a look. It's a little bit hard to see online, but Jayden Reed, the big thing that sticks out here, I'm going to get a little bit close because I want to read this off for you. When you look at his short distance, which is under 10 yards, right? Under or at 10 yards, okay? His catch rate over expected was a -6%. His medium from 10 to 19 yards of depth was a -6.3, I believe it is. But then, Tim, when you go to his catch rate over expected for deep balls, 20 plus air yards, plus 32.6%.
Reed down there somewhere, baby.
And the reason I'm bringing this up before we dive into a Christian Watson Chalk Talk game is because we said this in the offseason. Jayden Reed can play Z. I mean, essentially the F in Matt LaFleur's offense is a moving Z. That's what it is. And then when you break down the numbers, you can see Jayden Reed can play down the field. He can track the ball as good as anybody. And we showed the sideline circus catch where Jordan Love throws on the run, an excellent throw and catch there by Jayden Reed on the sideline. We seen the catch in triple, at least double, partially triple coverage against, I believe it was the Rams deep down the field on that play. We go back to his rookie year against the Saints, the go-ahead drive where Jordan Love hits him in a slot fade and he makes a diving grab 20, 30 yards down the field, whatever it was. So he can stretch the field vertically if you need him to. So the advanced metrics, however, reveal a clear picture. Reed's struggles are not due to lack of talent. According to Reception Perception by Matt Harmon and James Cole, Reed won 67% of his go routes. I repeat, 67% of the go routes he ran, he won. 82% of the post routes he won. Okay. Those are both deep routes for those of you playing along at home. And 73% of the corner routes, another deep route. Okay. So essentially, with the deep routes, the staples of deep route running in Matt LaFleur's offense, the go route, 67% success rate, 82% on post routes, 73% on corner routes. Impressive figures that highlight his ability to dominate downfield. Despite these numbers, head coach Matt LaFleur's offense often deploys Reed like a lighter version of Deebo Samuel, utilizing him in the motion game, screen game, jet sweep game, and misdirection plays while limiting him to 50 to 60% of the offensive snaps.
Not anymore, baby. Not anymore. We got more weapons now, right?
Yeah, and we talked about that, how Jayden Reed, when people said, man, he just fell off at the end of the year, guys, he was banged up and he wasn't getting targeted. That's essentially what happened down the stretch there. We
got a feeling we're going to see Savion Williams in the jet motion a lot more
no doubt about
than Bird this year. Yep.
And when you notice, too, in the last 5 games, we only came away with 1 drop that we could account for when we watched the tape, and he was laying out on a 4th down trying to make a diving catch against the Vikings. So the drops were grossly overstated. You still got Warren Sharp spewing this nonsense all over Twitter, but he never backs it up with any damn tape. It's never a, here's the tape, here's what we've seen. It's always just man, Jordan Love had horrible wide receivers. The wide receivers did not play good enough last year. Don't get me wrong. But to sit here and pretend like Jordan was perfect and the receivers were absolutely horrible it's so silly. It's such a silly conversation. Always, remember what Aaron Rodgers said? There's 3 sides to every story: your story, my story, and the truth. I'm telling you, the people that want to hate on Jordan Love will make it sound as if he's the most inaccurate passer in the history of the game. The people want to hate on the receiver core. Jordan Love was perfect, and the receivers were garbage last year. And the reality is, it's a little mix of both.
And the reality is, nobody's talking about the fact that Jordan was playing on 1.5 legs for most of the year last year, right?
Exactly. So the Packers receiving core has a reputation in fantasy football and sports betting circles as a group of solid but unpredictable players who take turns producing, often leaving fans and bettors frustrated. That is a real thing, by the way. Don't believe me? Ask Jacob the Beard. Reed's metrics, however, suggest he could break out of this mode. With Christian Watson's sideline, Reed has an opportunity to claim more go and post routes in a run-heavy offense that sets up play-action passes well, especially with quarterback Jordan Love's strong arm. You guys know he led the league in completions of 20-plus air yards, 20 air yards or more last year with 24. In that statistical column, all right? So LaFleur's –
I don't listen too much Taylor Swift.
LaFleur's schematic brilliance paired with Jacobs' dominance on the ground creates an ideal environment for Reed to shine. As rookie Matthew Golden develops, the Packers should lean more heavily on Reed, not by abandoning his versatile role, but by increasing his downfield targets. I repeat, by increasing Jayden Reed's downfield targets to match the elite metrics he's already shown he can produce. So, Tim, we're going into this year, and the reason I put this together, I've seen a couple of those write-ups and man, let's kind of dive into this a little bit. We've been talking about 11 personnel is what we're going to run the most, right? And the way I see 11, with Christian Watson starting on the puck, Romeo Doubs X, Jayden Reed F or slot, and then, of course, Matthew Golden in the Z. And then you've got, from a rotational standpoint, Dontavion Wicks coming off the bench. And you're going to be looking to implement Savion Williams into some of those gadget plays we talked about. I feel like Savion can play in the slot. I feel like he can play the X as well. We showed you on Chalk Talk. If you guys didn't watch that, just comb through the channel, go back a few days, you'll see a Savion Williams film breakdown. And you can see they deployed him in the Z, they deployed him in the X, they put him in the slot down in TCU's offense. He also played Wildcat quarterback. He played a sidecar. He did it all. So if you can get him implemented into the offense, you got Dontavion Wicks and Savion Williams coming off the bench, and then you got that 3-headed monster in Romeo Doubs, Jayden Reed, and Matthew Golden, the first-round pick. Now, this is where I got to say, all right, what if we do move Matthew Golden around? If he can pick up those choice routes in the F position and slot sooner rather than later, maybe Jayden Reed is the downfield threat. And here's the other thing. Put Jayden Reed in the 2 in the slot, Matthew Golden in the 1 in the Z, and then you pre-snap cheat motion, Jayden Reed outside to that stack look, that we've seen Matthew Golden run at Texas, and we've seen Jayden Reed run that slot fade with. Let Matthew Golden work underneath while they're probably trying to poach. You guys remember the conversation we had yesterday about Nick Saban's defense, right? You get that safety poaching on Matthew Golden because of that 4.29 40, and all of a sudden you got Reed in a mismatch, outside leverage, corner playing inside leverage, outside release with that cheat stack, and you got you a couple go routes. And what you're doing is you're playing into the analytics, the strengths of Jayden Reed's game. Does that make sense, Tim?
It does. And I think what you may have hit on here is that this may be the formula we see throughout the year. These guys are going to be interchangeable. You know, we talk about the versatility. It may be a matchup situation or a down and distance situation, you know, based on how they use their personnel groups. But I am all for increasing Reed's downfield targets. I love it. I think we've got enough depth now that when it comes to that flyer position, like we've got people we can plug and play there. Let Bird just be a receiver, man. I think this is the year to cut him loose. And if we do that, it's going to increase the likelihood that, you know, a guy like Matthew Golden or Savion Williams as a rookie is going to have an opportunity to shine because, you know, these defenses are going to have to account for Bird. And it's going to free things up for our rookies for sure.
Yeah. Coach Lynn says, I want Golden on short motion as much as possible.
Yep.
Also mentioned zipper motion. That's the thing, man. You start to ease him into that, right? And could you imagine Matthew Golden on an end around after they're expecting Jayden Reed to do it? Matthew Golden with 4.29. And you see the way he is such a fluid runner with the football in his hand for sure. And he ain't afraid to run through arm tackles either. So,
and we know how that O-line can get out to the next level, right? I mean, I'd love to see Matt Golden come around the corner with Zach Tom, you know, running out there, laying somebody out. You know, maybe Tuck Norris laying a block out there, and letting Matt Golden do what he does best, which is fly down the field with the football.
Yeah. So again, guys, the whole point of that article was to point out Jayden Reed's success with downfield targets. Okay. So now what I want to do, we've talked about Matthew Golden. We did his Chalk Talk the other night. We talked about his versatility. We've talked about Jayden Reed in this article, right? We've talked about Savion Williams and how he'll be deployed. I think we predicted somewhere around, you know, anywhere from 2 to 450 yards. Nothing crazy, but just a role player in this offense, kind of get his feet wet, right? So now what I thought we would do, Tim,